Welcome to fourth episode where we will explore the fascinating amino acid, asparagine. It is one of the 20 amino acids that are essential building blocks of proteins in living organisms. It is a non-essential amino acid, which means that it can be synthesized by the human body. It plays a critical role in protein synthesis and the formation of glycoproteins. It also has important functions in the nervous system, immune system, and metabolism. Recent studies have investigated the potential health effects of asparagine, including its role in cancer and neurological disorders. In the podcast episode, we will discuss a few main aspects of asparagine, its structure, function, biological roles, and potential overdose issues. We will begin by discussing the chemical structure of asparagine and its classification as a non-essential amino acid. We will explain its role in protein synthesis and the formation of glycoproteins, and how it is synthesized in the body. Moving on to the biological roles of asparagine, we will discuss its various functions in the body, such as its role in the nervous system, immune system, and metabolism. We will also highlight some of the key studies that have investigated the role of asparagine in health and disease, including cancer and neurological disorders. Finally, we will delve into the controversies surrounding the potential health effects of asparagine. We will discuss some of the potential negative health effects of consuming high levels of asparagine, such as the formation of acrylamide in certain foods. We will also highlight some of the controversies surrounding these claims and the limitations of the available research. Additionally, we will touch upon some of the potential benefits of consuming moderate levels of asparagine, such as its role in promoting healthy brain function and preventing certain diseases. Before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss any episode. Let's start with the chemical structure of asparagine and its classification as a non-essential amino acid. It is an alpha amino acid, which means it contains an amino group, N.H2, and a carboxyl group, Cu, attached to a central carbon atom. It also has a side chain or R group, which in the case of asparagine, is a carbamyl group, Con2. The chemical formula is C4H8N2O3. It is classified as a non-essential amino acid, which means that it can be synthesized by the body and does not need to be obtained through the diet. The body can produce asparagine by converting other amino acids, such as aspartate or glutamate, into asparagine through a process called transamination. Asparagine can also be synthesized from ammonia and aspartate using the enzyme asparagine synthetase. Despite its non-essential status, asparagine is still an important amino acid in the body due to its role in protein synthesis and the formation of glycoproteins, which are proteins that have been modified with carbohydrate chains. It is also involved in various metabolic processes and has been linked to the regulation of neurological function in certain disease processes. It's time for this amino acid's role in protein synthesis and the formation of glycoproteins. Proteins are made up of long chains of amino acids, which are linked together by peptide bonds. Asparagine is one of the 20 amino acids that make up proteins, and it is incorporated into proteins during the process of translation, where the genetic information stored in RNA molecules is used to synthesize proteins. In addition to being incorporated into proteins, asparagine can also be used to form glycoproteins. Glycoproteins are proteins that have sugar molecules attached to them, and they play important roles in cell signaling, cell adhesion, and immune system function. Asparagine is one of the most common amino acids found in the sugar chains that are attached to glycoproteins. The addition of sugar molecules to proteins occurs through a process called glycosylation, which involves the transfer of sugar molecules from specialized enzymes to specific sites on the protein. Asparagine is a key target for glycosylation, and the addition of sugar molecules to asparagine residues on proteins can greatly affect the protein's function and stability. Before we delve into the biological roles of asparagine, feel free to leave your queries in the comments below. I shall respond to each one of them personally. Moving on, in the nervous system, asparagine is involved in the synthesis of neurotransmitters, which are chemical messengers that transmit signals between neurons. Specifically, asparagine is used to produce aspartate, which is a precursor to several important neurotransmitters, including NMDA, N-methyl-D-aspartate, which is involved in learning and memory, and GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter that helps to regulate brain activity. It also plays a role in the immune system, where it is involved in the synthesis of glycoproteins. Glycoproteins are proteins that have carbohydrates attached to them, and they play a variety of important roles in the immune system, including in cell signaling and recognition. Asparagine is also important for the proper functioning of the immune system by contributing to the production of antibodies, which are proteins that help to fight off infections and other foreign substances. In terms of metabolism, asparagine is involved in the synthesis and breakdown of other amino acids, including aspartate and arginine. It is also important for maintaining nitrogen balance in the body, as it can be converted to aspartate, which is then used in the urea cycle to remove excess nitrogen from the body. This and aspartate are both amino acids, meaning they are building blocks of proteins and play important roles in various biological processes. While they share some structural similarities, there are distinct differences in their chemical composition and biological functions. One way in which asparagine can be converted to aspartate is through a process called demidation. Demidation is a chemical reaction that involves the removal of an amide group, N.H2, from the asparagine molecule, resulting in the formation of aspartate. This process can occur naturally in the body, particularly under conditions of high temperature, high pH, or prolonged storage, which can cause proteins containing asparagine to undergo demidation. Another way in which asparagine can be converted to aspartate is through enzymatic reactions that involve specific enzymes called asparaginases. Asparaginases are a group of enzymes that can break down asparagine into aspartate and ammonia as part of the body's metabolism of amino acids. This process is particularly important in certain tissues, such as the brain, where both amino acids have distinct roles in neurotransmitter function. Once aspartate is formed, it can participate in a range of biological functions that are distinct from those of asparagine. For example, aspartate is an important component of the citric acid cycle, a metabolic pathway that is involved in energy production in cells. It is also a precursor for the synthesis of other amino acids, such as arginine and lysine, and plays a role in the regulation of protein synthesis and degradation. Now, let us look into key studies that have investigated the role of asparagine in health and disease, including cancer and neurological disorders. These studies are quite new and ongoing. Please keep yourself updated in future in light of new evidences. Cancer. A 2018 study published in the journal Nature found that reducing levels of asparagine in mice with aggressive breast cancer led to slower tumor growth and reduced metastasis. The study suggests that dietary restrictions or drugs that limit asparagine availability may be a potential therapy for cancer. Neurological disorders. A 2016 study published in the journal Neuron found that a mutation in the gene for asparagine synthetase was associated with a rare neurological disorder called pontocerebellar hypoplasia type 5. The study suggests that proper regulation of asparagine synthesis is critical for proper brain development and function. Another 2016 study published in the journal Nature Communications found that a diet low in asparagine and other amino acids improved symptoms in mice with a genetic mutation that causes a type of autism called Phelan-MC-Dermid syndrome. The study suggests that dietary manipulation of asparagine and other amino acids may be a potential therapy for neurological disorders. While it is generally considered safe in moderate amounts, consuming high levels of this amino acid may have negative health effects, particularly due to the formation of acrylamide in certain foods. Briefly talking, acrylamide is a chemical compound that forms naturally in certain foods when they are heated to high temperatures, such as during frying, baking, or roasting. Some foods particularly high in acrylamide include French fries, potato chips, baked goods, and coffee. Studies have linked high levels of acrylamide consumption to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including kidney, ovarian, and endometrial cancers. Additionally, acrylamide has been associated with neurological damage and other health problems in animal studies, although the effects on humans are less clear. While the relationship between asparagine and acrylamide formation is not fully understood, it is thought that high levels of asparagine in certain foods may increase the likelihood of acrylamide formation during cooking or processing. As a result, some health experts recommend limiting consumption of foods that are particularly high in asparagine, such as potatoes, as well as reducing exposure to acrylamide by choosing foods that are prepared using lower temperature cooking methods. It's important to note, however, that the link between these two and health is still a topic of ongoing research and debate. Some studies have suggested that the potential risks of consuming high levels of both may be overstated, and that other factors, such as overall diet and lifestyle habits, may play a greater role in determining health outcomes. Some of the juicy controversies surrounding the claims about the potential negative health effects of consuming high levels of asparagine are worth looking into. Limited research. Most of the studies investigating the potential health effects of asparagine have been conducted in animal models or in vitro experiments. There is a lack of large-scale human studies to determine the precise impact of asparagine on human health. Acrylamide formation. Some studies suggest that asparagine can react with other chemicals during high-heat cooking, such as frying or baking, to form acrylamide, a potentially carcinogenic compound. However, other studies have found that the link between dietary acrylamide intake and cancer risk in humans is inconclusive so far. Dietary patterns. It's important to consider the overall dietary patterns of individuals who consume high levels of asparagine. For example, some foods that are high in asparagine, such as potatoes and coffee, are often consumed in combination with other foods that could also impact health outcomes. Individual variability. The impact of asparagine on health outcomes may vary between individuals, depending on factors such as genetics, age, and underlying health conditions. Confounding factors. Some studies on asparagine and health outcomes may not control for other important confounding factors, such as physical activity levels, smoking, or alcohol intake. While excessive intake of asparagine may lead to potential health risks, moderate consumption of asparagine has been linked to several potential benefits for human health. One of the most significant benefits of consuming it is its potential role in promoting healthy brain function. Asparagine is a precursor to a neurotransmitter called aspartate, which is involved in the transmission of nerve impulses in the brain. Studies have shown that supplementation may help to improve cognitive function, memory, and learning ability. It may also play a role in preventing certain diseases. For example, research has shown that asparagine may have anti-inflammatory properties, which could help to reduce the risk of chronic inflammation and related diseases such as cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Additionally, some studies have suggested that asparagine may have anti-tumor properties and could help to prevent the development of certain types of cancer. Furthermore, it is also essential for the normal functioning of the immune system. It is required for the synthesis of certain immune-related molecules, and it plays a role in the production of cytokines and other signaling molecules that regulate immune responses. Finally, asparagine is an important nutrient for the maintenance of healthy skin and nails. It is a component of keratin, a protein that forms the structural basis of skin and nails. So, before we sum it up, I thank you for tuning in. This series has detailed discussion of every major amino acid. Link of the series is in the description below. Let's sum it up. Asparagine is a non-essential amino acid that plays an important role in protein synthesis and the formation of glycoproteins. It is synthesized in the body and is involved in a range of biological functions, including the nervous system, immune system, and metabolism. Some studies suggest that consuming high levels of the same may have negative health effects, such as the formation of acrylamide in certain foods, but the research in this area is limited and controversial. There are controversies surrounding the potential health effects of asparagine, including its possible contribution to the formation of acrylamide in certain foods. The available research on the health effects of asparagine is limited, and more studies are needed to fully understand its role in human biology. Consuming moderate levels of asparagine may have potential benefits, including its role in promoting healthy brain function and preventing certain diseases. We will be covering all the amino acids in the series. Make sure to check the entire series of podcasts to comprehend the complexity of the building blocks of our body: protein,